from the Science of Mind magazine daily guides. This one, of course, being for the next 24 hours. Let me see. I'm just going to read the daily reading, and then as I did yesterday and I think the day before, I'll come back and make some comments on it. However, I think it's per request. I've been asked to read it all the way through. Excuse me, I'm just going to straighten that. I've been asked to read it all the way through. And in case you're wondering, yes, I did get a haircut. Not a lot, but I did get some. I'm being pulled in different directions about whether I should get my haircut. Personally, I'd sooner have it a little bit less than what it is now, but some people, for instance, my spouse, decided she likes it this long. She trimmed it a little bit, and that's about it. And other people said, no, don't cut it. Well, we'll see how that goes. It's not quite as long as it was when I was at college. When I was at college, it was down here, actually, but that's a whole nother story. Today's reading is called Your Unique Vulnerability. Your Unique Vulnerability. Oh, excuse me. The first quote is from Gilda Radner, who I didn't know who she was. I looked her up. She was an American comedian, actress, writer from the middle towards the end of the 20th century. She died when she was quite young, actually. And she did appear on the earlier editions of Saturday Night Live, but I didn't know who she was. Anyway, this is what she has to say. While we have the gift of life, it seems to me the only tragedy is to allow part of us to die, whether it is our spirit, our creativity, or our glorious uniqueness. And this last part, glorious uniqueness, is really the focus of today's reading. Ernest Holmes says, the hope of destiny is latent in the slumbering thought and the genius that lies behind it until attention is winged with love and reason. So that's from the Science of Mind textbook on page 415. And this story is probably a myth, but it's a good story. Remember, myths are not some things that are not true. A myth is often not factually true, but there's truth behind it, and it tells a story which is based on a truth. An honorable warrior went to a temple to find inner peace. Finding the spiritual leader in tranquil contemplation when he arrived, it filled the warrior with emotion. The warrior knew he fought courageously and honorably throughout his life, yet he was distraught to sense he would never have the presence of peace of the teacher who stood before him. As the day passed into the night, the great warrior felt melancholy. When the two, the spiritual leader and warrior, stood in the middle of the moonlit courtyard, the teacher pointed to the exquisite moon and said, as the moon crosses the heavens, the sun will rise much brighter, lighting up the sky and the landscape in entirely different ways. I have never heard the moon grumbling. The moon wouldn't say, how come I'm not as bright as the sun? I must be less than, unquote. The sun and the moon are different. Each has its own unique gifts. You must not compare yourself with others. And this is the spiritual leader talking to the warrior. And this is Reverend Christian Sorensen. Giant gentleness for ourselves opens us to be who we say we want to be, without self-judgment and with compassion in the journey of becoming. Trusting our uniqueness challenges us to leave ourselves vulnerable. We each are different people, expressing in our own unique way to make the world a better place. Is that not what matters? And the affirmation is, I'm happy to purposefully deliver my gift in my own unique way. What this actually takes me back to, believe it or not, is classroom settings, whether it's at regular school, grade school, or whether it's at university. And or it could be in any kind of scenario where there's going to be a question and answer option. And how many times have you and I sat and had a question, but we didn't answer it, we didn't ask it because we felt it might make us look silly or stupid? Even though we've been told many times, there's no such thing as a wrong question. The thing is this, that we all look at life differently. And when somebody makes statements, they're making it from their own personal point of view. You know, Reverend Jesse Jennings has got a lot more experience with homes than I do. So I'm usually never bashful about asking him questions about homes because I know he knows a lot more about it than I do. But if it came to something that I know more about than he does, he wouldn't hesitate to ask me. You know, he wouldn't hesitate to ask me about comparisons with different places in Europe where I've lived, for instance, or the Middle East where I've lived, or my experience as an engineer, for instance. He wouldn't have a problem with that, or even like world religions to some extent. So the whole point of this, I think, is twofold. It's to realize that each one of us has got something distinct and unique to offer to the world. And it might not be all that much different from what somebody else has got to offer, but it's different. And how many times have you been in that classroom when someone's asked that same question that you didn't ask, and then everybody in the room, you could see it's what they all wanted to know? Because there's arguments about this, but one of the theories is that we all learn in different ways. We all have our unique ways of learning. Some of us are kinesthetic, that's touch, feel. Some of us are auditory, and some of us are visual. And all of us are all three, but we predominantly operate in one mode or another, and it can change as well depending on the setting. So the whole point of this is that we need to accept the fact that we do have special things to offer, even if that offer seems to be something small like a listening ear. You know, we talked about it before that often somebody, all they want is a listening ear. You know, I've offered to do that with somebody I know just recently. They're not looking for me to give them advice. They might be looking for feedback, I don't know. But the thing is this, often people, when they've got troubles or they need help or something, they just really want somebody to hear them out. And if they need advice, my experience is they'll ask for it. But the point is that you personally have got something special to offer to the world. And your job really in life, you know, it's been often in a lot of circles, they say, God has a plan for your life. Well, that's predestiny, which means it's all laid out. No, Holmes said God's got a pattern. God is a patterning or spirit. I know some of you don't like that word, G-O-D. So spirit, the all, is a patterning intelligence. And what that means is that there's a pattern that helps us to flow through life. But it also means that we've each got that something special to offer. Because if predestiny were really the thing and everything was already laid out, what's the point? There is no free will, right? And you wouldn't have anything unique to offer because it had all been thought out for you. Or even if you did offer it uniquely, it wouldn't be yours. It would be coming from some divine authority, which is not true. The divine operates through you, but it operates through you as you. It doesn't operate instead of you. It doesn't push you at one side and operate. No, the divine operates through you. I think it was St. Francis of Assisi, one of the Christian saints, who said that you are the hands and the feet and the mouth, etc., of the divine. You are the divine on earth. You are performing as the divine. You're not the whole of the divine. That's just everything. But you are a unique expression. So the message I take from this is that each of us has got something unique to offer to the world, and that it's great that we deliver it in our own unique way. So that's all I got to say. And I'm changing my wording here. The light of the divine surrounds us, and the love of the divine enfolds us, and the power of the divine protects us, and the presence of the divine watches over us, because everywhere we are, Spirit is, and always well. So until next time, namaste.